Hello everyone, welcome to MAYANK LAWHOLIC. In this video, we will discuss case laws related MCQs of environment law. So let's get started. Question number 1. Find the correct answer. The Supreme Court allowed compensation of 23.84 lakhs and later allowed additional compensation of 47 lakhs to the farmers whose crop got damaged, being irrigated by the subsoil water drawn from a stream which was polluted from untreated effluents of 22 industries. It was decided in the case of, correct answer is B, Indian Council for Environmental Action versus Union of India. This is the correct answer. And this question contains the facts of particular case. The Supreme Court observed that noise pollution cannot be tolerated even if such noise was a direct result of and was connected with religious activities in the case of, correct answer is Church of God in India versus KKR Majestic Colony Welfare Association. In which of the following cases the Supreme Court applied the doctrine of public trust, that state as a trustee of all natural resources is under a legal duty to protect the natural resources. These natural resources are meant for the public use and cannot be converted into private ownership. Here the correct answer is MC Mehta versus Kamal Nath and others. This is a very important case law. In which of the following cases the Supreme Court discussed the development of precautionary principle? This question is also very important. The correct answer is AP Pollution Control Board versus M.V. Naidu. In which of the following cases the Supreme Court observed that when there is a state of uncertainty due to lack of data or material about the extent of damage or pollution likely to be caused, then in order to maintain the ecological balance, the burden of proof that the said balance will be maintained must necessarily be on the industry or the unit which is likely to cause pollution. Here the correct answer is none. In which of the following cases the Supreme Court directed closing down and demolition of shrimp industries in coastal regulation zones, implementing the precautionary principle and the polluter pays principle, and held them liable for the payment of compensation for reversing the ecology and compensate the individual for loss suffered? Correct answer is S. Jagannath versus Union of India. In which of the following cases the Supreme Court upheld the governmental direction to close down a limestone mining operations and quarrying permanently, holding it the duty of the lessee to protest and safeguard the right of the people to live in a healthy environment with a minimal disturbance of ecological balance? Here the correct answer is B, Rural Litigation and Entitlement Kendra versus State of Uttar Pradesh. Which of the following case is considered as a high watermark case in forest protection decided by the Supreme Court? Here the correct answer is B, T.N. Godavaram Tirumul Pakt versus Union of India. Taj Trapezium is a case in between MC Mehta versus Union of India. This is also very important case law. In case of violation of Article 21 by disturbing the environment, the court could award damages not only for the restoration of the ecological balance but also for the victim who have suffered due to that disturbance. In which case the Supreme Court has made above observation? Correct answer is MC Mehta versus Kamal Nath, AILET 2000. In which of the following case the constitutionality, legal validity, propriety and fairness of the settlement of the claims of the victim in a mass tort action relating to Bhopal gas leak disaster has been challenged in Supreme Court of India? Correct answer is C, Union Carbide Corporation versus Union of India, AIR 1992, Supreme Court. The problem of pollution of river Ganga by the inaction of the municipalities was brought to light in which of the following case? Here the correct answer is D, MC Mehta versus Union of India, AIR 1988, Supreme Court. Which one of the following case relates to Sariska Tiger Park? Correct answer is A, Tarun Bharat Sangh versus Union of India, AIR 1992. Which of the following cases relates to the transfer of tribal land by the government to non-tribal people? Here the correct answer is B, Samanta versus State of Andhra Pradesh, AIR 1997, Supreme Court. Which of the following case is popularly known as Doon Valley case? Correct answer is RL and E. Kendra versus State of UP, AIR 1985. The public trust doctrine primarily rests on the principle that certain resources like air, sea, water and the forest have such a great importance to the people as a whole that it would be wholly unjustified to make them a subject of private ownership. The above doctrine was discussed in detail in which of the following cases? Here the correct answer is A, MC Mehta versus Kamal Nath. The Supreme Court held that the precautionary principle has no applicability in this case as the gains and losses of a building a big dam are predictable and certain. In which of the following case? Here the correct answer is Narmada Bachao Andolan versus Union of India. The Supreme Court constituted Bhure Lal Committee to examine and report the low sulfur diesel as a clean fuel to be used by vehicles in which one of the following case? Here the correct answer is MC Mehta versus Union of India and others. Cases involving issues of environmental pollution, ecological destruction and conflict over natural resources are on the increase, and hence setting up environmental courts on the regional basis with one professional judge and two experts drawn from ecological science research group is necessary was observed in which one of the following case? Here the correct answer is B. Bittu Sehgal versus Union of India. The Supreme Court, while reiterating the significance of intergenerational equity, observed that the present generation has no right to deplete all the existing forest and leave nothing for the next future generation. In one of the following case, the correct answer is C. State of Himachal Pradesh versus Ganesh Wood Products. The Supreme Court, in which of the following cases, observed the issue of pollution should not be resolved at the cost of poor people's livelihood. Here the correct answer is C. MC Mehta versus Union of India. The state is the trustee of all natural resources, which are by nature meant for public use and enjoyment, and that Indian legal system includes the public trust doctrine as a part of its jurisprudence. The Supreme Court of India has observed above in which of the following case? The correct answer is T.N. Godavarman Tirumulpad versus Union of India. In which of the following cases the Supreme Court of India held that right to access to drinking water is a fundamental to life and it is the duty of state under Article 21 to provide clean drinking water to its citizens. Correct answer is B. AP Pollution Control Board versus M.V. Naidu. The Code of Criminal Procedure, which contains some general provisions to cover ordinary situation, came to be regarded as an instrument to combat pollution in 1980s and was utilized in which one of the following cases? Here the correct answer is D. Municipal Council Ratlam versus Vardichan. The precautionary principle of environmental law was illustrated as a part of municipal law for India in Vellore Citizens Welfare Forum versus Union of India. The doctrine of public trust was propounded by the Supreme Court in the case of B. MC Mehta versus Kamal Nath 2000. In which of the following cases the Supreme Court held that the precautionary principle and polluter pays principle are part of the customary international law and there is no difficulty in accepting them as a part of the domestic law. Here the correct answer is D. Vellore Citizens Welfare Forum versus Union of India 1996. Which one of the following case lead to the enactment of the Compensatory Afforestation Fund Act 2016? Here the correct answer is T. N. Godavarman Tirumulpad versus Union of India. The government and statutory authorities must anticipate, prevent and attack the causes of environmental degradation. When there are threats of serious irreversible damage, lack of scientific certainty should not be used as a reason to postponing measures to prevent environmental degradation, in which case Supreme Court gave this definition of sustainable development. Correct answer is C. Vellore Citizens Welfare Forum versus Union of India, AIR 1996. In SR Oil Limited versus Haldar Utkarsh Samiti, AIR 2004 Supreme Court, it was held that the pipeline carrying crude is permitting to pass through Marine National Park and Sanctuary. In Tehri Bandh Sangharsh Samiti versus State of UP 1992, it was held that construction of dam was permitted. In MC Mehta versus Union of India, writ petition civil 13029 of 1985, roadworthiness of a commercial vehicle was reduced from 15 to 8 years, under which law central government has power of reducing the period of roadworthiness. Correct answer is D. The Motor Vehicle Act. Match list 1 and list 2. List 1 contains A. Rilland versus Fletcher, B. Indian Council for Environmental Legal Action Union of India versus Union of India, Vellore Citizens Welfare Forum versus Union of India, and D. MC Mehta versus Kamal Nath. Here the correct answer for Rilland versus Fletcher, as we are all aware that this is a question of tort. Correct answer is rule of principle of strict liability, and correct Indian Council for Environmental Legal Research. Here the correct answer is principle of polluter pays. Vellore Citizen Welfare Forum. In this question, correct answer is precautionary principle. And MC Mehta versus Kamal Nath, the last and the remaining option, principle of public trust for ecological protection, MC Mehta versus Kamal Nath. Again, the question is of match the following. Match the item list 1 and list 2 using the codes given below. List 1 contains A. No reason to compel non-smokers to be helpless victims of air pollution. B. Noise pollution cannot be tolerated even if such noise was a direct result of and was connected with religious activity. C. Duty to protect the natural resources applying the principle of public trust. And D. Pay compensation for reversing the ecology and compensate for individuals for loss suffered. The correct match will be no reason to compel the non-smokers to be helpless victim of air pollution. Correct match is Murli Devra versus Union of India. Noise pollution cannot be tolerated even if such noise was a direct result and was connected with religious activity. This case we have already discussed. Church of God Full Gospel in India versus KKR Majestic Colony Welfare Association is the correct answer. For B, duty to protect the natural resources applying the principle of public trust. Here the correct answer is MC Mehta versus Kamal Nath and others. pay compensation for reversing the ecology and compensate the individual for loss suffered. Here the correct answer is S. Jagannath versus Union of India, the last and remaining option. Match the following of list 1 and list 2. List 1 consists of options: A. Banning plastic carry bag below 14 micron affecting environment, animals and wildlife. B. The burden of proof will be on industry or the unit which is likely to cause pollution. C. Compensate for reversing the ecology and compensate the individuals for loss suffered. And D. Dislocation of poor forest dwellers while infringe their fundamental right of livelihood. Here the correct match with the list 2 will be banning plastic bag carry below 14 microns affecting environment, animals and wildlife. The correct answer is Research Foundation for Science versus Union of India. Correct match of A. The burden of proof will be on the industry or the unit which is likely to cause pollution. The correct answer for this match will be in list 2 will be Vellore Citizen Welfare Forum versus Union of India. Compensate for reversing the ecology and compensate the individuals for loss suffered. Here the correct answer is S. Jagannath versus Union of India. This has already been asked in the last question. Option number D. Dislocation of poor forest dwellers will infringes their fundamental right to life and livelihood. The correct match for this is Banvasi Seva Ashram versus State of UP. Now let us look at the next question, which is also the match the following. List 1 contains options. List 1: A. Public liability, B. Sustainable development, C. Wildlife protection and D. Hazardous waste and material. Here the correct match is in list 2 will be public liability. The correct match is MC Mehta and another versus Union of India and others. Sustainable development, correct match for sustainable development is Narmada Bachao Andolan versus Union of India. And wildlife protection, correct answer is State of Bihar versus Murad Ali Khan. Option number D. Hazardous waste material. Here the correct answer for this is Research Foundation for Science versus Union of India. Where directive principles have found statutory expression in do's and don'ts, the court will not sit idle and allow government to become a statutory mockery for protection of environment. The law will relentlessly be enforced and the plea of poor finance will be poor alibi when people in misery cry for justice. The above was observed in Municipal Council of Ratlam versus Vardichand by Justice V. R. Krishna Iyer. So these were the questions which we have discussed so far of environmental law, multiple choice questions. We will meet again in another video. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching.